Today we're playing a version of the Second Battle of St Albans in 1461 using my Midgard Heroic Battles rules, slightly downgraded to make them a little bit less heroic today. So, laid out on the table, we have the Earl of Warwick's men, all expecting the Lancastrians to come from the north, and of course they're not. So the chronicles have got all sorts of detail about nets, caltrops, these is spikes being strung across hedgerows, that kind of thing. So essentially Warwick has prepared a defensive position, but unfortunately he's about to get flanked by the Lancastrians. So running down the line, we have John de Mowbray, Duke of Norfolk up here, Richard Neville, Earl of Warwick in the centre with his guns and continental handgunners. And then moving down, we've got John Neville, Baron Montague, Warwick's brother, who took the brunt of the fighting. Just behind them, we have some tents. Now, after the battle, King Henry VI was found, apparently, singing underneath a tree, being guarded by a couple of knights. So when we get to a late stage of the battle, what we're going to do is, when a unit gets to the tent, we're going to dice to see which one he is in. So it's not guaranteed that we will be able to find him, but he will give reputation to the armies, but no one's going to look for him until people have got 5 or less reputation left in their goblet, when it looks like one side might be about to win or lose. Moving down to St Albans. So here we have Andrew Trollope and Lord Clifford. Trollope is widely regarded as the architect of some of the better Lancastrian strategy from this period, and his men have come through the town. They've defeated the Yorkist archers in the town and are now right on the edge, about to flank Montague, who is in serious trouble. Just behind him we have got Henry Beaufort, the Duke of Somerset, and over on the left we've got Henry Percy, the Duke of Buckingham, ready to bring up the rear. He's not the Duke of Buckingham.
He is the Duke of Northumberland.
Correct, let's recut that one. On this side we have the Duke of Northumberland coming up through the town. One special Midgard rule we've been playing this time around is that for this scenario, the Yorkist commanders have had no mighty deeds for the first turn, which would allow them to re-roll command test. This has cost them quite heavily because they've been unable to stop retreat and dress the line effectively. Trollope and the Lancastrians have had plenty of mighty deeds available, and although they have taken some damage, he has got a consistent line moving forwards. But in turn 2, we are going to allow the Yorkist commanders their mighty deeds to see if they can get a grip. At the end of turn 1, stuff has picked up very, very quickly. The Lancastrians have marched out of St Albans. Trollope's men, we discovered, actually took quite a bit of damage in the fight with the archers earlier on, so they're a little bit reluctant at the moment, but they are doing some good shooting. Montague has bravely started to turn parts of his line around, but the arrows are pouring in and some of the units are damaged already. This unit of Billman is in serious trouble, having completely ignored what was going on. Further up the line, Warwick is reversing, trying to pull his men round, and Norfolk is doing God knows what at the moment, opening the sandwiches, I think. It's turn 2, and we have, I think, possibly a shared record nobody has charged anybody else by the second turn of the game. Quite a miracle. The Lancastrians are continuing to push forward. A lot of damage being taken by the Yorkist from archery down here. Montague has, however, managed to pull together a battle line. We have Northumberland, though, is marching his men up around the outside of the barricades that Warwick's men have erected over here. Warwick is starting to get his men in some kind of order, though the guns, true to form, have completely refused to redeploy. Mowbray, Duke of Norfolk, has now decided to cut his losses and put his men across the barrier, maybe to fight them off or maybe to get away in a hurry if it all goes peak-top. End of turn 3. It's all going off here. We had great excitement here as Northumberland's men have started to come round in front of the barrier, which has, to my great excitement, put them in front of Warwick's guns. And despite the damp weather, they've actually been able to get a shot off and damage Northumberland's archers advancing up here. At the other end of the barricade, Norfolk has decided to climb his men across, and there is some disorder going on. You can imagine the archers and billmen climbing over the various caltrops, trying to take down the nets and pervises. They are in some disorder. Whether they'll make a difference, we don't know. Over in the centre, we've got an indecisive melee going on between billmen from Clifford and Montague's contingents. Montague and Warwick are bringing round their men-at-arms and archers to attempt to hold them off. We've had our first unit lost in the centre as well. The Lancastrians have got a very solid line sweeping up here. End of turn 4, quite a slow turn actually, because both sides have been dressing their lines. The Lancastrians have been quite cautious here, pulling up a battle line. Montague has thrown in a charge here to try and drive them back. He has successfully driven off the billmen, but his men failed their orders and continued the charge, so they're now pushing deep into the Lancastrian lines. Warwick is coming around and probably looking for his horse at this point in time, and Norfolk's men are still reorganising themselves after climbing the barriers at the far end of the road. So indecisive at the moment. End of turn 5, it is definitely hotting up. Warwick has finally gone into combat and his men-at-arms are fighting the Duke of Somerset at the moment. Montague has bust through the Lancastrian line and is now closing in on some of Northumberland's men, and most of Norfolk's men have eventually climbed over the barricades and have started to get involved, but it is definitely indecisive. There's a lot of failed command tests over here. The cannon fire has caused a bit of consternation. The archers don't want to advance in front of it, and I think the battle is going to be decided over here. End of turn 6. It's all turning a bit historical, I think it's fair to say. Warwick's men have been defeated in combat. He's had to flee. Yorkist reputation is teetering. We have one token left in the goblet. Norfolk's men have made it over the barricade. They are starting to make an impact, but I fear it is going to be too late. More concerning over here, Montague has broken through, but has just received an arrow in the head and has been wounded. So he is also in deep trouble and deep in the Lancastrian lines. The Warwick's much vaunted Continental gunners and handgunners are about to get rolled up by Andrew Trollope, who has not trod on a caltrop yet. One more turn. End of turn 7, is it? And it is all over. Montague, his men-at-arms have been scattered. He has been captured and dragged up, wounded, to have a chat with Marguerite of Anjou. Warwick is fighting a losing battle over here. He's driving some of Beaufort's men back, but Beaufort and Trollope are coming round the rear, and he's going to be gone. The guns are still holding out, and Norfolk's men are engaging. Northumberland's, I keep saying Buckingham. But yeah, that is it. We have, at the end of that final turn, we have 7 reputation left in the Lancastrian goblet, but -4 in the Yorkist, meaning it is game over. And now all we need to do is find out where Henry VI is, which tent he's in, and whether he was singing or not. That's it. Anyway, game over. Brilliant game. That played far more interestingly than I thought it was going to. A flank attack scenario feels like it's going to be a complete wipeout. It wasn't. It was really, really interesting. So thanks for playing.